Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Makeup 101, so makeup for beginners. So I've done a lot of tutorials on, these body paints and bigger looks and what I like to say a little bit more complicated looks, but I've never really done a basic beginner's guide. I've done the OMA homework and stuff, but never really talked about step-by-step beginners, easy go-to kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So this is the step-by-step guide on how for flawless, natural makeup. So the first step is going to be prepping your skin. So by prepping your skin, you're going to want to have a clean base, freshly washed face, fresh skincare. So if you're doing your makeup in the morning before you go to work or before you start the day, do your morning skincare. So freshly washed face, morning skincare with your toners and your cleansers and your moisturizer and all that stuff. And so that way you can have a fresh, clean surface. You never start a painting with a dirty canvas. You start with a fresh, clean canvas. You never start cooking on a dirty countertop. You start with a clean countertop. So let's go clean our countertop.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Okay, so now that we are back from that, because that is the number one important step, we are now going to do our makeup. And yeah, if it looks like I jump cutted, it's because I did. I already filmed that portion before I sat down to do this. I just didn't film the intro before. So the next thing we're going to be doing is talking about primer. So if you want your makeup to last on all day, if you want it to be less cakey, if you want it to be smoother application, if you want it to be, people that have a lot of oily skin, using a mattifying primer will help the foundation adhere better and be less separating, and just, overall last all day. People that have very dry skin, using a hydrating primer will be a lot better, so that way you can not have your foundation cake onto you and just start to clump. If you have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles, using a pore filling primer. If you have a lot of pores, if you have a lot of, just primers that can help smooth fine lines, things like that, can just help give an even base and an even canvas. You're going to want to start with the even canvas. So I have some notes here because you guys know I love my notes. These are all the notes that I've written out just from how I would describe it to people. So yeah, like I said, if you're wanting to have your foundation just be flawless and you're wanting a perfect base, just a natural base, and you have large pores, you're going to want to use a pore filling primer. If you want it to last all day, you're going to want to use a primer. If you have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles, you're going to want to use a primer that fills those, or that smooths out those fine lines and wrinkles and such and such. I do have a Skin Prep 101 video. I believe that will be posted before this, which will have a lot of information about that as well. So yeah. I will also put some stuff in the description about each primer and best ones to use. So I'm going to be using this one. It's a vitamin enriched face base. I don't have a lot of pores or fine lines. My fine lines are right here. I have smile lines. But this is just a all-in-one hydrating primer and moisturizer from it's the vitamin enriched face base from Bobbi Brown. I'm just going to be using a little bit of that to start this makeup. Using this, I already feel so hydrated, and I know a lot of people don't like using primers because it's an added step, but it's an added step that's necessary in my opinion. From just, doing people's makeup and needing it to last all day, doing my own makeup and all of that, so it's definitely something that I feel is needed. And now you don't need the generic primers, you don't need the high-end primers. There's primers that you can literally just put on to help smooth out any sort of fine lines. There's primers you can just put on to help, target your large pores if you need it. So you can just, you don't need to put primer everywhere. If you find that if you're using like a pore filling primer and you don't have large pores on your forehead, but you're putting it on your forehead and then it's cakey, maybe just only target the areas that are needing that kind of primer. Okay, now we're going to be talking about foundation. So for foundations, you want to make sure that you've base matched correctly, and here is how you're going to do that. So once you have the perfect shade for you, you want to make sure that you start from the corner or for the center outwards so you get that nice flawless airbrush. If you go in like outwards in, you're going to have like weird streaking here and it's going to be very noticeable. So you want to start center outwards, brush it out, airbrush it out. You want to make sure you get the neck and the ears. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. CC Camo.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good
Concealer. So you do not need a lot of concealer. This isn't 2016. We don't need to go back to the concealer triangles. Now, yeah, a lot of people still like that for ultimate coverage, but you can end up having issues with doing that and looking even darker with your under eyes. So the best way to do it is just a little bit. You do not need a lot. I like the squeeze tube guy. I like all concealers. I'm going to be using the IT Bye Bye Under Eye. And all you're going to do is squeeze just a little bit. I like to do a dollop right here, close to the nose, and then over at the sides, because these will blend upwards, where this will blend underneath. And you do not need a lot. This is just to brighten, and you want to make sure that your concealer is like a shade lighter than your foundation so that it can brighten up those under eyes as well as concealing the under eyes. Okay, so now we're moving on to bronzers. So you don't really need to do a lot of cream products. I just like to do them. You can really just powder this and go in with the powders, but that can end up causing a little bit of cakiness a little bit. So I like just to go in with the powder so that it looks more melted into the skin. So I'm going to be taking the Rare Beauty bronzing stick, and all you're going to want to do is determine where your cheekbone placement is. So mine is right here. So what I'm going to do is put it right under the cheekbone, just right where the hairline is. Just like that. We do the brush, and I'm just going to blend it. I kind of do like a little bit of a circle to get that initial buff, and then keeping everything going upwards. So just keeping everything moving upwards to give that natural snatched look, because you don't want to drag any of it down. For my bronzers, for like the creams, I kind of just bring them up, whatever is like left on the brush, and kind of go into the three. That way it's not like a lot of product on the face. For cream blush, I'm going to be using the Rare Beauty Cream Blusher. And this is where you're going to want to smile. If you drag it downwards, you're going to start getting that sagging look, but if you blend it upwards and just keep like blending kind of into your contour, you're going to get that nice, happy, lifted effect. And then again, I'll just kind of take my sponge with any leftover foundation or concealer on it and just tap that out to really blend that into the skin and make it look melted. And now we're going to powder. So for powdering, this isn't baking. We're not going to be baking. Baking is when you really set it on there and you leave it. That's like if you really need to make up the last all day. So this is the One Size Beauty setting powder. So you're going to want to take your sponge, make sure that there's no creasing under the eyes or anywhere where you can get lines or any of that. Then you're going to take your brush and lightly apply that anywhere you need the makeup to set. I don't really put that on my bronzer or anything because I set that with the bronzer powder and blush powders. So I kind of just leave those, but I make sure that the chin, the forehead, and the under eyes and around the nose is set. And then I just kind of take like a powder brush and wipe away any excess. So then for bronzer, blush, and highlights, I'm going to be using for bronzer the Marc Jacobs, and this is the Tantric bronzer, because I love how big this is. For bronzers, there's lots of like brushes that you can use. This is like a powder brush that you can use, or you can use like angled bronzers. I'm just going to be using this guy and dipping it in, just doing the same kind of contour application we did with the cream bronzer, just a teensy bit, lightly buffing, just a 3 motion, you know? Just keeping it right where that contour was. So I'm going to be taking this blush. This is the Powerpuff X Colourpop and Fighting Crime. And I'm just going to take it on a angled blush brush. I find is the best. Smile and just lightly apply and bring up. Just sweep it and bring it up. Sweep and up. Before I do the highlight or moving on for anything, I will set my makeup. So I'm going to be using this. This is the baking spray from Beauty Bakery. I'm just going to set my makeup and then tap it all in. So that way there's no powder sitting on top and nothing is cakey. It also gives that highlight a little bit of a base to grab onto, a little bit of a wet base, and it just makes the highlight blend even better. So we're going to be taking the Kayla X Glam Light highlight and on like a taper brush like this. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the eyebrows and the eyes and the lips. First, we're going to start with the eyebrows. Personally, because I have quite a bit of eyebrow real estate, I like just to take a little bit of the brow lift gel and brush them right up into like the feathered look, and they're good to go. But for people that have more sparser brow hairs, you can take like a brow pencil that has, if you have sparser, then I would take one that has like a smaller tip, where I have larger. So you're going to want to take your spoolie, brush your brow hairs up and outwards. And you're going to want to shape it for like what kind of shape you're going for. I prefer more of like a fluffier brow, but if you like more of a, you know, shaped brow, then you can like shape it. But you're going to want to just shape it with the spoolie. Extra help, like usually in my tail area, I need a little bit of extra help. You're just going to lightly add some brow hairs with your product. You want your product to be slightly, just teensy bits, either close, like either exactly your shade or a teensy bit darker. And then you're just going to want to brush that product into the hairs to mix it all together. And just to soften the product so you're not going to get overly a different color. And you're going to want to keep the front of your brow hairs really light and sparse. So I wouldn't really add any here. I would keep it more like the tail and like the middle region. Just to keep the brows natural looking. But as I said, I like just to have them be brushed up. So that is exactly what I am going to do for my brows, just because that's what I like to do. I like to take a spoolie and just brush them into spot. I don't even put any product in them, like for brow pencils. I mean, I did for this video, but normally I don't. Okay, moving on to eyeshadow. So, for eyeshadow, we're going to do a neutral look. I primed the eyes with concealer. You're definitely going to want to use a eye primer, because that's just going to help the color adhere better, be more pigmented, get the best payoff, and it's also going to help just cancel out any redness to the eyes that might make the color not adhere as best and make it last longer. So then just a little bit of powder to set if you're using concealer, but there's plenty of other eye primers you can definitely be using. So what I like to do is I start off with a fluffy brush and just a nice, you know, light transition shade. Because we're doing neutrals, I'm going to do a light kind of cream based shade, and I'm going to put that all over the lid and the crease to make sure that the concealer is set, but also to give it a nice color to adhere to and for everything to blend onto. It is always nice to have that transition shade because the colors blend nicer together when they're blending on top of a shade. Especially when like all the shades blend really nicely with each other, if that makes sense. But you're just going to want to pack that on there and just make sure that everything is smooth and set. Then what you're going to want to do is take kind of a crease brush, so to say, like a nice fluffy brush for the crease. and a little bit of a deeper color, a little deeper brown, and apply that right in the crease. Don't go above it, don't go underneath it, just the crease. And you're just going to blend that back and forth until you're happy with the blend. And this is just going to add definition to the eye and again help everything blend. Then what you're going to do is take a little bit of a deeper color, staying in with the neutrals, but more, this one's going to be like the definition, depth kind of thing. So what you're going to do is take that shade and focus it really on the outer corner of the eye. You don't need to like bring it in or anything, just focus it really just on that outer corner. Just like this. You can make it as dark as you want, as light as you want. Just pack it on there. Then we took a deep brown and packed it on the outer corner for a definition shade. Blend this out with your crease brush. So now we're going to take it and blend with the crease brush. Blend this into the crease with small circular motions, keeping it focused on the outer corner, not to bring it into the lid. We're going to bring that same brush that has the color from the outer corner on the lower lash line and just keep that tucked right in. And then you can just add like a nice little shimmer to the lid. I like to use it with like my finger. You can do anything you want to the lid. Just keep it right on the lid. Go back in with that crease brush and just kind of blend it all together on the, make sure that there's like no solid line between the shimmer and the outer corner. You want to make sure that's just like flawlessly blended into each other. Then you can take like a small like little pencil brush and put like a little bit of that shimmer on the inner corner to really brighten up those eyes. And you can also put a little bit on the brow bone to lighten up those eyes as well. So for the eyeliner, this is the One Size BD eyeliner. What I'm going to do is only line halfway. So I'm going to start right where my pupil is, about halfway where the eye, and just do a tight line all the way to the outer corner. The eyeliner is really just up to you and what you want. I find that this just opens the eye a little bit better. With mascara, you don't want to put too much on. I would just do like 1 to 2 coats depending on the mascara. Make sure you have clean lashes and just do root to tip. Root to tip. I find it helps to put your mirror kind of underneath your jaw and look down to do root to tip. For lashes, I'm going to do more of a natural lash. So when you're taking them off, you want to pull it on the outer corner so that the inner corner isn't the one that's going to be lifting. Then what you're going to do is apply your lash glue. You can apply your lash glue to your lash line, but I like just to apply it to the actual lash. And then for 30 seconds, you're just going to kind of bend it and shake it. This just helps break the lash band and make it adhere better and stick better to your natural eye shape. And then I just look down again, place it in the middle, and kind of poke it on the outer corner, and then the inner corner. Alrighty, now for lip liners. To keep the lips looking neutral, we're just going to take a kind of nude lip liner. What you're going to do is you don't want to overline the top. So you're going to follow your natural lip line. But if you're wanting to overline a little bit, you overline the bottom. Because if you do the top, you're going to see where your Cupid's bow is. It's going to be noticeable. But if you do the bottom one where you just kind of follow slightly below the line, you're not even going to be able to notice the difference. And then what you're going to want to do is just kind of paint your lips a little bit with that lip liner so that everything looks blended and smooth when you put the actual lipstick on. And then we're doing this Kaja lipstick in Earhart. This is Ride or Die. You want it to be pretty close to the lipstick or to the lip liner. And you're just going to apply that right over top, kind of keeping it in the middle a little bit. And blend your lips together. I like to do another round of setting spray. And there you have it. And this is the look. Well, I love how this turned out, and I hope this was helpful for you. This is kind of like the basic step-by-step how to do a flawless, full base, full makeup look with lashes and everything. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below other videos you'd want to see. And of course, subscribe to the channel and join that family. Ring that bell to never miss another one of my videos. All my socials will be linked down below. And I'll try and link down the products below as well that I used in today's video. And I will leave in the description box kind of the step-by-step of my notes that I wrote so that you can follow along like that too. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.